Libra, dear soul of balance and beauty, you are falling into something enormous. And heaven is pleading with you gently, urgently to stop and listen. Because this is not just another horoscope reading. This is a divine intervention. A moment marked on your soul's calendar. If you've landed on this video right now, know this, it's not random. It's sacred timing. There's an invisible thread that brought you here, a whisper you couldn't quite place, a shift in energy you felt but couldn't name. You may not know why, but something inside you does. You are being redirected. Not punished, not delayed, but protected. And here's the truth the world hasn't told you yet. When your spirit is about to rise into something powerful, chaos often comes first. That's why God is asking you to pause. To resist rushing. To hold your ground, because the next step is not just a decision. It's a destiny. Right now, your name is echoing through spiritual realms. Something enormous is aligning behind the scenes. And if you've been exhausted, confused, or strangely emotional lately, this is the reason. You're not broken. You're being awakened. You are being warned and blessed at the same time. This reading is not here to scare you, it's here to prepare you. Because what's coming will require discernment, clarity, and courage. And my job is to help you receive it fully, and without fear. So Libra, take a breath with me. Allow your spirit to be still. And if you feel that this message is finding you in divine alignment, I invite you to comment the number 888 below. That number isn't just for luck, it's a sacred signal to your guides and to the universe that you're ready to pause, listen, and align. In this space, your comment is not just engagement, it's activation. And before we dive deeper, let me take a sacred moment to thank you. Truly. Every like, every share, every comment that comes from your heart, it's not just support for this video or this channel. It's energy. And that energy fuels Zodiac Whisper Tarot, allowing messages like this one to reach the souls that need them most. You are part of something bigger here. So I thank you from the depth of my spirit, because your presence is a gift. And I mean this with all sincerity. You will want to stay until the end of this message. Because what the universe is about to reveal is stunning, liberating, and tailored exactly for your soul path. So tell me, my loyal Libras, what made you click this video today? Was it a sign, a feeling, a dream? I want to hear from you. Speak to the field below. Let your voice ground this message. Let's begin. Everything in your life right now, Libra, may feel like it's shifting beneath your feet, not slowly, but all at once. The balance you've worked so hard to maintain might be unraveling in unexpected ways. The timing is not accidental. It's cosmic. This energy doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to realign you. Lately, the planetary transits have been quietly orchestrating a divine recalibration of your life. Venus, your ruling planet, has taken an introspective turn in retrograde, asking you to revisit old definitions of love, self-worth, and security. Saturn, the stern teacher, has stepped back into a karmic review, pressing on your boundaries and old contracts. And if a recent eclipse, lunar or solar, felt like it stripped something away from you, that's because it did. But it only took what no longer serves the person you are becoming. In the tarot, this moment is beautifully reflected in the card, the Tower. Many fear this card because it often foretells sudden change, the crumbling of what we once believed was solid. But truthfully, the Tower is one of the greatest blessings we can receive. It clears false foundations. It exposes illusions. It forces honesty. And most importantly, it creates space for something purer, more aligned, and more empowering to rise in its place. Libra, the shaking you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. If you've been more emotional lately, if relationships feel strained, if your inner compass seems to have gone quiet, this is not failure. This is transition. You are not lost. You are being led. Even if the path ahead seems uncertain, even if you can't see the next step yet, the universe sees you. You are being asked to surrender what no longer fits so you can receive what your future self has already prayed for. Sometimes the collapse comes because we were building our life around outdated dreams that no longer carry the frequency of who we are today. And so, you are invited now to feel everything fully. Don't rush through the discomfort. Sit with it. It's trying to tell you something important. You're outgrowing your old rhythm, your old beliefs, your old identity. And that is something to celebrate. Have you felt this, Libra? The sudden tension in once safe spaces. The unexpected pull away from people or habits that once comforted you. The slow, almost silent knowing that something is about to shift permanently. These are not coincidences. These are soul signals. In your busy days, it can be easy to dismiss these signs. But today, just for a moment, I invite you to pause and ask, what if this discomfort is my invitation to expansion? What if the balance you once clung to was never meant to last forever, because your soul is moving towards something greater, something truer? And if you felt like you're standing in the middle of a storm with no map, no anchor, you're not alone. In fact, this is a shared experience among many Libras right now. We are all riding invisible waves of change. And there is comfort in knowing that this shaking, this shedding, is a sign you are on the right path. If any part of this resonates with you, I invite you to share in the comments below. Have you felt your inner balance shake recently? Have you noticed familiar structures beginning to dissolve? Your story might just be the mirror someone else needs to find peace in their own storm. So speak it. Anchor the energy. You are not alone. Let's breathe through this chapter together. You were made for evolution. Sometimes, Libra, the most powerful movement forward begins with stillness. After all the chaos, all the internal unraveling, all the moments when your heart felt like it was being pulled in 100 directions, CV now reached a divine pause. This is not a delay. This is not punishment. This is sacred space. You're not being denied anything. You're being redirected towards something you couldn't have planned for on your own. Right now, you are being asked to stop, not because you've done something wrong, but because you are being chosen to receive something higher, something that requires your full presence and surrender. This week, the energy around you is shifting from motion to meaning. Saturn's slow retrograde has been pressing on your boundaries, perhaps making you feel like you're under some form of cosmic quarantine. But Libra, this is a retreat, not a rejection. Venus, your ruling planet, has been whispering subtle truths to your soul while in her contemplative phase, inviting you to finally trust that waiting does not equal wasting. There's a divine blueprint unfolding, and sometimes we only see it when we stop trying to rewrite it ourselves. Spiritually speaking, this moment echoes the energy of the Hanged Man in tarot. You're not stuck, you're suspended in a sacred view. It's uncomfortable because you're not in control. But you were never meant to hold all the pieces. This moment calls for a new vantage point. A quiet alignment. A pause not born from fear, but from reverence. Sometimes, heaven doesn't move until you sit still long enough to hear it breathe. And maybe you've already felt this. Maybe you've noticed how when you finally let go of needing to force the outcome, clarity began to trickle in. Maybe there was a morning you woke up and suddenly knew what to walk away from, not with anger, but with peace. That's not coincidence, that's divine orchestration. I've witnessed this in my own life too. I remember one season where every door seemed closed, every effort futile. And then one day, in stillness, I felt something shift inside. I stopped running. I stopped fixing. And I whispered a simple prayer: God, I don't know what you're doing, but I trust you. Within weeks, the very thing I had been chasing arrived, but in a form more beautiful and aligned than I could have imagined. This is the vibration of the number 7 in numerology, or spiritual checkpoint. It's a number of reflection, divine insight, and inner growth. When this number shows up in your field, it's time to stop striving and start listening. You're not being asked to build anything right now. You're being asked to become something that can receive. And this isn't just about you. Libra, your energy has a ripple effect. When you pause, you allow divine order to realign everything around you: your finances, your relationships, your health, your future. Surrender isn't weakness, it's the gateway to strength built on faith, not fear. So let me ask you, can you pause long enough to hear what your soul has been trying to say? Can you trust that slowing down is sacred? Can you surrender control to gain clarity? If your heart is ready to stop striving and start aligning with the divine timing meant just for you, write in the comments, "Dear God, I surrender to your plan." Let this be your soul's signature that you're done pushing and finally open to being led. Your next miracle may be waiting just beyond the stillness. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come not through force, but through surrender. Libra, take a breath with me right now. There's no need to keep running, striving, or proving. Because something higher has already arranged the key details of your journey. What's unfolding in your life isn't random, it's been written into the blueprint of your soul since before you took your first breath. Your finances, relationships, career moves, and even those deep dreams you dare not speak aloud, none of them are outside of divine orchestration. You're not behind. You're not off track. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And the delays? They're not punishments. They're recalibrations. In astrology, when Venus, the planet of grace, value, and balance, aligns with Libra, your own sign, the universe asks you to stop deciding with your head and start listening with your soul. This is a sacred moment to lean into intuition. What may feel like a standstill in your love life, your purpose, or your income is actually a pause filled with wisdom. A moment designed for divine rerouting, not rejection. Energetically, the act of clenching, holding tightly to control, needing to know how everything will turn out, blocks the very magic you're praying for. When you loosen your grip, your vibrational frequency rises. And when you rise, you align with divine timing. You don't have to chase what's already yours. It will be drawn to the version of you who trusts. Think of the story of Joseph. Betrayed, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned. And yet, every piece of his path was preparing him to govern a nation, to save his family, to fulfill a purpose he could have never scripted on his own. The same is true for you. Or consider Esther, an orphan who became a queen for such a time as this. She didn't know the plan. She simply stayed faithful to what was in front of her. The same goes for Abraham, called to walk into the unknown without a map, only a promise. This isn't about blind passivity. It's about bold trust. There is a huge difference. When you stop striving and start listening, you'll begin to notice the signs that were always there. The person who calls at just the right moment. The job offer that aligns perfectly with your needs. The inner peace that replaces anxiety when you stop trying to fix everything. These aren't coincidences. They are echoes of a divine plan falling into place. Even colors carry messages. Light sapphire blue, for example, isn't just a soothing hue, it vibrates with energy of trust, peace, and spiritual openness. Wearing or surrounding yourself with this color right now can remind your spirit that you're supported. That heaven hasn't forgotten you. So ask yourself gently, what are you gripping so tightly that it's starting to hurt? Is it an idea of how things should go? A relationship that's draining your joy? A fear of not having enough? Could it be that the miracle you've been waiting for is waiting on you to let go? You are not required to figure everything out in this season. You are invited to believe that it's already being handled behind the scenes. Surrender doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're finally wise enough to stop fighting a battle that's already been won in your favor. If this resonates with you, I invite you to take a sacred pause and comment below. I release what no longer serves me. Let the community hold space for your courage. You're safe here. And more importantly, you're seen by the universe, by your creator, and by every force conspiring to bring you into alignment. You're not late, Libra. You're being led. Sometimes, dear Libra, what weighs you down isn't the burden itself but your refusal to let it go. You've been holding on so tightly to an image of stability, of what should work, of who should stay, that you may not have noticed the cracks beginning to form beneath the surface. But here's the truth the universe whispers, that holding on to a closed chapter won't open new doors. The blessings you've prayed for, the life you say you want, they're waiting not at the end of your struggle, but on the other side of your surrender. You've come to believe that strength is measured by endurance, but in seasons like this, it's measured by your willingness to release. What you think is safe may simply be familiar pain. From an energetic perspective, clinging to what no longer serves you lowers your vibration. It reinforces a frequency of fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of being wrong. But your soul knows something your ego doesn't, that what's meant for you will never ask you to shrink. In fact, one of the most powerful shifts in manifestation happens when you stop chasing and start allowing. The number 8 in numerology reminds us of cycles of what repeats until it's healed. If you've been feeling stuck, exhausted, or emotionally numb, ask yourself, are you caught in a loop of your own making? Are you nurturing a version of life that no longer nurtures you? Think of it like theory holding a withered plant, watering it every day, hoping it will bloom again. But there's a garden just behind the next door. A lush, abundant field. The only key? Letting go of the pot. Letting go of the illusion that if you try harder, you can revive something that was only meant to teach you, not travel with you. We don't always realize how much energy it takes to hold on to something that's already gone. But the moment you release even for just one breath, you create space for new alignment, new miracles. You might say, but I've invested so much time, love, effort. And I know. But what if what you lose by clinging is far greater than what you gain by staying? Every sunrise is proof that the universe resets the moment you're willing to begin again. That's why even the most grounded practice, like 3 minutes of mindful breathing each morning, can become your anchor. Sit in stillness. Ask, what is mine to carry today, and what am I being asked to release? In the silence, your inner guidance will speak. When we examine this through the astrological lens, Venus, the ruler of Libra, doesn't just govern love and beauty. She governs value. When Venus aligns with your sign, she doesn't ask, who loves me? She asks, what do I love enough to let go for? And sometimes, that answer comes wrapped in grief, not glamour. In tarot, this is the energy of the Eight of Cups. The brave walk away from what's fine, in order to find what's sacred. There's also a lesson here reflected in ancient stories. When Abraham walked away from the comfort of his homeland, he didn't know where he was going, but his faith unlocked a greater promise. It wasn't punishment. It was purpose. Similarly, you may be standing at the edge of what feels like loss. But it may actually be the beginning of your expansion. So I gently ask, what have you been gripping so tightly that your hands are too full to receive? And if you feel that this message touches something deep within you, I invite you to affirm it in the comments below by writing, I surrender, God. I am ready to receive. Your words are not just expressions. They are energetic agreements. Let them be the first step to liberation. Sometimes the abundance you've been asking for doesn't come in the shape or timing your mind imagined, because your soul made an agreement for something greater. And dear Libra, this is where the real journey begins. You see, prosperity isn't only about what shows up in your bank account, it's about what awakens in your spirit when you stop clinging to the old blueprint. The universe, in its divine wisdom, is rearranging things behind the scenes, opening a path that doesn't match your checklist but matches your soul contract. Many people expect wealth to come through strategy, hustle, or grinding endlessly. But true cosmic prosperity unfolds through alignment. Just like the Empress card in the tarot, she does not chase, she magnetizes. She flourishes because she's rooted in nature, in rhythm, in inner nourishment. She trusts the cycles she receives by being. That's the frequency you're being called into now. The law of attraction responds not to your effort but to your embodiment. Perhaps right now, the plan you thought would bring success is falling apart. Or maybe your relationships, your health, or your career path are no longer delivering the satisfaction they once promised. It's not because you've failed, it's because the energy has expired. The wealth you're meant to step into requires a different vibration. And you can't carry fear, scarcity, or self-neglect into this new chapter. This is why we begin with the practical. Start observing your spending patterns, not with shame, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, am I spending to fill a void, or to invest in joy and expansion? When you write down your emotions before every purchase, you'll start to notice unconscious loops, and that awareness alone is transformational. Then, as you honor your body with nourishing foods, reduce sugar, and increase minerals, you shift your internal chemistry to support clearer intuition. Eat slowly. bless your meals. Let gratitude be the seasoning. When it comes to your work, pause and ask, am I doing this out of fear of failure, out of love for what I offer the world? Because fear repels abundance. But devotion, even in silence, attracts miracles. And in love, let's be honest, have you truly been loving from wholeness? Or have you been reaching out with parts of you still wounded, hoping someone else will complete the healing? When you love from a healed place, your relationships become safe spaces for growth, not places of rescue. Libra, the number 888 is showing up for you now for a reason. In numerology, this is a symbol of financial resurrection, of tripled fortune, but also of karmic clearing. It tells you, a new season is opening, and it's not a copy of your past. It's golden. The golden yellow aura of this energy represents the sacred link between divine light and material manifestation. But to receive it, you must step into the unknown without dragging old beliefs behind you. And maybe it's not about figuring it all out. Maybe it's just about staying open. There's a verse that whispers this truth: seek first the kingdom, in other words, place alignment over outcome, and all else will be added. And so, the real path to abundance is not in trying to manipulate reality but in learning to trust it. Wealth is not the reward for struggle, it's the natural result of living in your truth. So if you feel the shift stirring, if you know in your bones that something bigger is calling you to receive, not because you've earned it, but because you're ready to embody it, then I invite you to type 888 in the comments now. Let the universe know you're aligned, available, and willing to receive wealth in its most divine, unexpected, and multiplied form. And perhaps now, as you sit in stillness, you can finally feel what you were too busy to notice before, that everything you've been searching for was never outside of you. It's always been there, waiting gently, patiently, in the quiet corners of your soul. This journey wasn't about chasing more. It was about returning home. Not the kind of home made of walls and windows, but the one made of truth, peace, and divine alignment. Sometimes we pray for answers and expect loud signs. But the real answers often whisper. And to hear them, you must be still. You must choose, consciously, to stop running, not because you're lost, but because you're finally ready to be found. The world has taught you to keep moving, keep achieving, keep fighting. But the Spirit says otherwise. God is not begging you to quit. He's asking you to stop long enough so He can lead you. There's a sacred difference. You see, this moment right now may be the pause your soul has been crying out for. You may have thought you were in crisis, but what if this was simply divine redirection? What if the very thing that felt like delay was preparation? Can you imagine what would shift in your life if you stopped chasing outcomes and started choosing alignment instead? Let that image rise in your mind now, a door made of light, glowing softly at the edge of your spirit. It does not demand your hustle. It does not require your perfection. It waits. And it opens only when you decide truly. Decidido, stand still and let your inner wisdom speak. Can you give yourself that permission today? To listen more deeply? To surrender the noise and return to what matters? Ask yourself gently, where in my life am I running on empty? What truth am I avoiding because I'm afraid of stopping long enough to feel it? What blessing could I finally receive if I just breathed, surrendered, and listened? This isn't just a video. It's a divine appointment. If something inside you stirred today, if you felt seen, if you felt gently called home, then this was for you. You didn't find this message by accident. It found you. Because the universe and God are always right on time. And now, it's your move. So I lovingly invite you to take a sacred pause, just one breath, and let this message settle into the spaces where doubt once lived. And if you're ready, truly ready, to receive the guidance that's been waiting behind the noise, then comment 888 below. That number is more than a symbol, it's your declaration that you're choosing divine alignment over control, inner wisdom over chaos, and spiritual wealth over surface level success. And please don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with another Libra soul who might be silently crying out for a moment like this. You never know the light you could be passing on with a single gesture. Thank you for watching. Thank you for pausing with me. And thank you for trusting Zodiac Whisper Tarot to walk beside you on your path. We believe you didn't come here to consume content, you came here to touch your sacred destiny. And that destiny begins in a single moment of stillness.